Alright, hey everybody. Here we have the one quiz. I actually had one person that participated this past week, but she did both quizzes, the beginner and the intermediate quiz, because I felt that she needed more of a challenge, and she was a great sport about it. I asked her to do the intermediate one as well, and she did. So, I might send her a prize or something, Anyway, so here we have the quiz, which, if you go back, it was actually from a paused video, and I did not get a chance to print a still or anything like that, so you'd actually have to go back and have the video to see. But, you remember it from last week anyway. Great job. Really, really excellent job. The lighting, you did what you're supposed to do, where your lines expressed the shadow areas, especially here on the feet. Extremely good job. And here around the face, this entire side was in shade, and you got it really well. You caught this lost and found line where the eye had the most highlight. And here I kind of shaded in red the things that are in behind, and shaded in blue the things that are in the front. So you just want to... One thing though, and while we're drawing from life, this is why I don't like to call it life drawing. Like right here in the eye, you have the eye and the side of the head. Actually, they kind of intersect. They create a tangent, is where two lines meet or intersect, and you don't want to have them running into each other. Like, that's a tangent. You want a line to one line stops the other. You don't want two edges touching. They also call them kissing edges. That's bad. Here you have the side of the eye, and then this kind of... There's so little space that it almost creates a tangent. You want to give it a little more space. And that's why I don't like calling it drawing from life, because even though this is what you're seeing, you're going to still you're still going to apply design there to make sure that it works. You're improving life pretty much. Whereas drawing from life, you exactly as you see it. In this case, we really don't want to do that. We ended up with a bit of a tangent here, but what actually happened in the video, if the picture that you're using or the object is set up that way, just like from the very, very beginning when we chose between the two different still lives with the basic 3D shapes, everybody chose the right one and did not choose the one that had that really bad tangent where, two of the shapes were cutting into each other and breaking up the overall shape so you can't tell what's going on. If you blacked all of this in, this would look like a bump. It wouldn't look like a foot. So you would either overlap it completely, or you're going to put a little space there and fake it. So that way it remains, separate and recognized as a foot. Same thing, well, mostly over here on the eye, that's the big place. But yeah, really excellent job. The one thing you should look at though, this area, the leg into the chest and everything was just one flat. If there is a change, you need to put an overlap, which you kind of did here, but your overlaps were very timid. Right here, that's a big change. You make that a nice big bold, and it's away from the light. That's a big, bold overlap. Here, the overlap is towards the light, so it's more slight, but it has to be visible, or else you won't get the sense that this is in front of this. You need to... If things aren't in front of what they need to be or behind what they need to be, then everything just completely flattens out. No matter what kind of rendering you do, No matter how hard you try to make it look like the 3D object, it won't if you don't use your overlaps well. So, but either way, really good job. Then what didn't happen though, which we're going to work on, is constructing in 3D. Now, everyone has been drawing in Contour, and the Contour is your outside lines. I can tell that this was drawn in Contour because, which this might be clear to see, you know, it's the artist was looking at the outside lines, and then, added the shading with thicker lines, and that did bring it forth a little bit. But the original sketch was just flat lines. Here, I paused the video and I drew the head, not the ears and everything, but you can see that I started with not the lines, but the overall basic shape. And I knew that this is a break where the top of the head slopes into the nose. And then we have our head, which I did as a square. You know, you don't round it off until after you've drawn your basic shapes. So make sure my head doesn't get into the way. I started with this line, and I knew that this comes down, and I knew that there's a break here when the nose starts, and then this comes out to like a cube, but then this cube connects, and then after that, I know that there's a side of the head here, but I also know it pokes out, so I just did that. And because I made sure that this dented in and then comes out, this reads as the cheeks instead of just, flat in there. So, and also, when you are drawing direct observation, you have to check your angles. The head is pointed, tilted more, a little more, and there should be a lot less of this side showing than this side. This it's not enough. They're a little too similar. But like I said, excellent job. And of course, I actually literally I did this in the last 8 minutes before the end of my lunch period, so I didn't get a chance to measure, the eyes and everything. They're very lopsided, but you get the point. And my pencil is kind of thick there, but you get the point. If you construct it, and then I rounded off the round parts, but that's a top, that's top, that's a side, this is all side, this is side. Remember, your 3D shapes need to have, they have a top, they have a bottom, and they have sides. And you need to express that, or else you will not get that 3D shape. If you work with contour, you are always going to have something that is flat. So let's move on to the next quiz, which was a lot more complex. Oh, wait, before we do that, I'm sorry. The head was more complex, that's why I drew it out, but separately. But, the first shape I would have started with on this was the trunk of the body, which it's just a box. And then I would have added my cylinders and how my cylinders break up for the legs, because that gives you the knee. Having, you know, that break. Without it, you know, like this looks like a club. It's just flat, kind of drippy. Whereas when you make sure you put in your solid 3D shapes, and that's what's important, and I can't stress enough, they will not be solid unless you consider how they move in 3D space. Which, you know, that's a top. Then it slopes, top, slope, another slope, front. You can't even see that. Well, you saw the motion of the pencil. So that's what we're describing, except we're doing it in 3D space. I know my hand is blocking, sorry. And we're describing it in 3D space. Oh, my angles are off too. But because we're doing that, now you start to see the actual 3D-ness of it. Of course, we're not going to put all those extra lines in there. You have to start to see those with your mind. But you can very, very lightly, these lines where the planes break, and that's what each surface is, a plane, where they break, you very lightly you can put a line in there. Just so you get the idea. But we're going to keep moving on with that. And like I said, sorry this is a little skewed. Wish it looked better. All right.